Welcome, everyone. It's nice to see a full room. I call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. We go for the adoption of the agenda.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopts the regular council agenda for October 9th, 2025 as presented.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. So we've got disclosure of any pecuniary interest or nature thereof. Seeing none. We go to a public meeting, zoning amendment D-14-7, 2025.
That West Elgin Council hereby proceed into a public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act.
Mover, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. So we move on to a planner's report. Mr. Robert Brown, planner, could you please take over from this, please?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon to everyone around the council table and in public audience. This particular application is located at 25130 Argyle Line. It is a zoning amendment request. There are a couple of reasons for the zoning request. The Land Division Committee back in February of this year approved a lot addition severance to add lands around both the east side, the north side of the lot. These were lands that were hadn't been farmed, were originally part of the entire holding prior to the house itself being severed off. And the owner 25130 was looking to expand the lot and provide additional area, which will become which you'll understand as I go through this. The second part of this is the landowner approached us. It's been about 2 years now ago because of at least one complaint that had been received about the operation of trucking business from the current location. After reviewing it, it was determined that that was not a permitted use, at least not at the scale that he was operating the business on the property. We didn't issue an order to comply, but he was directed by bylaw enforcement to get in touch with planning, and we've been working with him to deal with the compliance issue. Part of the reason why it's taken so long is that after the zoning application was filed, the idea of expanding the lot came up, and rather than putting somebody through more than one zoning amendment application, they said, let's get that portion of it sorted out, and we'll bring the zoning together and deal with both the issues, both rezoning the lot addition lands to match the receiving lot, and also dealing with the trucking business component of it. The property, once the lot addition land is completed, it has been provisionally approved, but there are conditions, one of which was zoning on it. But once it's amalgamated with the existing lot at 25130, it will total just slightly less than 5 acres. It's on a private water well and private septic system. I won't go into a lot of detail about what the applicant does. I'll just give you sort of a brief overview. The applicant's agent and planner is in attendance and can go into a bit more detail there. But essentially, what he operates is a small trucking business for Cisco. It's a food distribution company that's headquartered in Woodstock. They utilize a smaller trailer and truck to basically deliver food to a number of businesses between London and Windsor, restaurants in particular, anyone else that requires food services and supplies. So they would anything that you would need to operate the restaurant or say a nursing home, hospital, so forth, they would potentially deliver supplies to them. His location is essentially kind of a relay point. What happens is loaded trucks are brought to the site. early in the morning and dropped off, and then the delivery drivers themselves will pick those trucks up and then go out into the community and do their drop-offs for their respective delivery routes. Right now, the business has a total of 4 trucks on the site. And obviously, drivers to accommodate that. The trucks are generally not there during the day. They leave fairly early in the day, are brought back later in the day, and then await the trade out of the trucks and come back in the morning, and the cycle starts all over again. And this, of course, obviously is weekly. One of the main concerns, obviously, with any use in the agricultural area is a couple of things. Before sort of getting deep into the policy component of this is protection of agricultural lands, any type of non-agricultural use, and even some ag-related uses and agricultural uses, obviously have the potential to use up productive farmland, and they also have the potential to have negative impacts on the ongoing operations in the agricultural area. So those are a couple of the tests that you have to do from a provincial planning standpoint to assess and determine whether or not a non-agricultural use such as this can operate in the agricultural area. This lot, obviously, and the lands that are being added to it haven't been used for productive farming for quite some time. They were part of a farm parcel until the house was severed as surplus, obviously, no longer required by the purchaser at the time, but hasn't been used for productive use. And neither are the lands that were added around it. That was part of outdoor storage area. There is a shed on the lands that was used for agricultural purposes at the time, but isn't any longer. In terms of agricultural impact, council will likely recall from the reports I've presented on surplus dwellings. One of the main concerns for agricultural impact is if there are nearby livestock operations and what impact any type of non-agricultural, particularly dwellings, has on the ongoing ability for farmers to continue to operate. In this particular instance, obviously, I already have a house there. It's already has a determined impact. But what impact will allowing that trucking business to continue on that site at a very limited scale? Essentially, none. The zoning that would be proposed on that would continue to be an agricultural zoning. From a livestock standpoint, that would not change the setback requirements. It would basically be something where if a livestock operator wanted to utilize one of the vacant parcels around there, they would have to meet certain setbacks from that house that's there on the lot now. And that doesn't matter whether the house is on the lot or on a farm. That's basically what the benchmark is for the minimum distance separation formulas. So it doesn't impact that. In terms of ongoing operation of the lands around it, again, the house is there. The house has already established a potential impact, be it someone who's potentially not from the agricultural area. Obviously, there's always a concern with potential complaints of non-farm and farm folks living in the same community. But in terms of the trucking component of it, directly impacting on the ongoing operation of agricultural lands in the area, that would appear to be not something that there would be impact on. There is something I will get into a little later as I kind of go through this. The other concern, and I think this is what has really brought this forward today for consideration, is the fact that there are 2 rural residential lots in the area, one directly south of the subject property, and one that is also on the south side of the road, but to the west. These are existing rural dwellings, and obviously something like a trucking business may not necessarily be something that you would anticipate in an agricultural area. And there are some underlying impacts that have been identified by those residents. Now, just because a business has potential impacts, that doesn't necessarily mean it can't go forward. It just simply means that there may be additional measures that have to be taken in order to mitigate what those concerns are. In this particular instance, noise is one of the concerns during the switching of trailers. There's obviously noise and some banging around that occurs in that aspect. That occurs obviously daily. There's also dust. This is a gravel road. There's some concern for the condition and ongoing maintenance of the road in the area. Because the trade-off of empty truck and large truck occurs in the early morning hours, there's also obviously some concern for lights from the trucks coming going from the property. Now, one of the methods to help mitigate that was obviously the applicant acquiring additional lands with the hope of moving those trucks further away, utilizing an existing shed as a screening for view from the neighbors and from the road, and also utilizing an access to those lands that's located further down the road that may not completely eliminate light interaction or light sweep across the neighbors, but will certainly help to minimize or reduce it moving forward. From a policy standpoint, obviously the provincial policy has to be reviewed. It has a specific section on non-agricultural uses. It lays out certain criteria that have to be met. Whether the property is specialty crop area, which it is not, that's been determined from a review of the soil mapping. That it meets the minimum distance separation formula. There are no significant livestock operations in the area to be impacted. Also looking, are there alternative locations that would avoid prime agricultural areas? Obviously, in Elgin County, it's very difficult to do because most of southern Ontario is considered prime agricultural lands. So avoidance of those lands tends to be rather difficult. And then whether or not there are no reasonable alternative locations in prime agricultural areas on lower priority agricultural lands. Now, these are cropped lands, however, they are heavier soil. So while they are still good for cropping purposes, they don't necessarily support the full range of crops that you would normally see in other areas with lighter soils. The County of Essex official plan has also been reviewed in the context of the proposed use. Again, it goes through many of the same things. Not taking productive farmland out of use and not impacting ongoing agricultural operations, and also dealing with the impacts from the introduction of any business, regardless of scale. Again, they talk about noise, light, dust, traffic, odors from any businesses, whether it's allowed or not allowed in the agricultural area, that those have to be addressed. Things like outdoor storage are also raised, but can be mitigated through the use of screening, whether that's landscaping or berms around a property to help provide screening from view. Limiting the number of employees in this particular instance, the employees that operate the business, and this is I think kind of an important distinction here. You have the operators of the business, the husband and wife operating the business or dispatching the trucks from the home. That portion of the business would be considered a home occupation. There is no issue with that portion of the business. What's at issue is the parking of the trucks on that particular property, and then them coming and going daily. So essentially that from an employment standpoint, the truck drivers that do the deliveries are only there long enough to drop off and pick up, and not on the site daily like the husband and wife that operate the business are. The West Elgin official plan was also reviewed, and again, many of the same things that are covered off in provincial policy and the county official plan are applicable to the county, the local West Elgin official plan. And again, talks about the reduction of farm loss, farmlands, and mitigating any impacts. Right now, the subject property is located in an A3 zone. Because that lot was severed off, the surrounding farm is in an A2 zone, and council recall that is a zone that prohibits dwellings but does continue to permit agricultural uses. What's being suggested as part of the amendment would be to put the entire property, the lot addition, and the receiving lot or existing lot now into a site-specific agricultural zone. This would permit the use or the parking of the trucks on the site. It would incorporate it as part of a home occupation, and the rationale for this is scale. If you simply permit a truck terminal on the site, then scale starts to potentially become an issue. If you keep it under the guise of a home occupations again have to be of a scale that it's really limited to, one or two people operating the business on the site. And although there are drivers that come to pick up the trucks, they're not working on the site. They're doing most of what they do off-site, similar to contractors that have employees that may meet up on the site in the morning, but most of the work is done off-site. Limit the number of trucks and trailers to a maximum of 5. So 5 trucks, 5 trailers. No more than that. This won't become the intent is not to have this become a parking lot for multiple trailers. You can see in the report, there was an aerial photograph that was included that shows the 4 trucks right now. The reason we've set this at 5, and certainly this can be amended, was to provide a little bit of opportunity for flex, or if for some reason a truck is down and is parked there and they bring in a replacement, they're not suddenly out of compliance with the bylaw, but not enough flexibility to escalate this to a full-blown truck terminal, which clearly there is a line in the sand here, I think, that we're trying to establish. Also incorporating a minimum setback from the front lot line for any truck parking area. And also that the truck parking area be screened from view, whether that's, again, through the use of berms or trees, or the applicant relocating the trucks behind the shed on the lot addition lands, which I believe is a long-term intent that he has for doing this. Notice was circulated to all of the neighbors on the 19th of September in advance of the meeting. Sign was posted on the property, and the notice was also posted on the municipal website. Both internal and external agencies were circulated. There were no concerns or comments raised from either. Conservation Authority provided comment that they had no objection to the proposed zoning amendment. And just because I know there's going to be some discussion on this, I guess going forward, my recommendation would be that until we hear comments and council's had an opportunity to digest my input, the applicant's consultant's input, and also comment from the residents, that we perhaps hold off on reading any recommendations at this point. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go on to public or applicant comments, please.
Good afternoon to Mayor and Council, and thank you, Mr. Brown, for the report. My name is David French, and I'm with Story Samways Planning in Chatham, and we were retained to assist Mr. and Mrs. Stewart with the rezoning application. And as Mr. Brown indicated, this began roughly 2 years ago. And over that time, I have met with the owners multiple times, as well as West Elgin staff, to discuss And I do appreciate that generally trucking businesses are not necessarily ag-related. However, it's not uncommon to see farms containing multiple trucks, as well as grain elevators, et cetera, within the local community. And from an optical perspective, a visual perspective, they're really, aside from the Cisco name on the side of the small pup trailers, there really isn't too much difference between this and a company that would strictly haul grain, for instance. Okay, trucks come and trucks go. Now, one of the things that we as consultants try to do is come up with as best as we can, a win-win situation for everybody. And that includes the client, obviously. It also includes the town and the neighbors. So we do know that there are some specific site issues, some specific concerns regarding the operation of the business on the site. And through discussions with Rob, the planner, and the applicants, we feel there is a way to mitigate those concerns. And Mr. Stewart, thankfully, has taken steps to mitigate those concerns. And the biggest step that he has taken was to acquire additional lands to the side and behind his existing surplus lot, hence the lot addition. Now, I appreciate that the neighbor directly across the road, the driveways almost line up. So when the trucks do leave, there may be, depending on the time of day, light, which would extend onto the neighbor's property. However, by purchasing the lot addition lands, it actually provides an opportunity to move the driveway for the trucks east of the dwelling across the road. I also note that both the dwelling across the road and Mr. Stewart's site is treed, has a number of trees. And as time goes on, there is an opportunity for additional landscaping. One of the things that everybody is faced with is rising costs these days. And Mr. Stewart definitely did research and got prices for to have a tree spade come in and to drop some large trees in a little space opening between existing trees. However, he was a little bit leery to make that investment without knowing an outcome of a rezoning application. Now, again, Rob's proposed zoning bylaw effectively does provide some assurances to the neighbors and to the town, to council, that certain setbacks have to apply for the trucks. The trucks have to be screened from the road. And Mr. Stewart agrees that it's in his best interest to adhere to those zoning requirements to ensure that his business is able to operate at this location at its current scale. So aside from that, I would ask, council, if they have any questions, I'm happy to answer. If I can't answer them, Mr. and Mrs. Stewart, proprietors are here and are able to answer. So.
Is there any questions on this from council before I ask the public to come again? Yes, Councillor Denning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. And thank you for being here, Mr. French. In Mr. Brown's summary, it was commented that some of the mitigation suggestions was either moving the trucks to the back of the property or screening such as a cedar hedge or a mounding. I believe the wording that Mr. Brown used was or, not both. Can you clarify what the intention is from the landowner with regards very specifically to the mitigation initiatives that will take place?
Thank you, through the mayor, to Councillor Denny. Thank you for the question. So if you, I trust that you have been by the property or at least seen aerial photographs, and the way it's currently set up is there is a small gravel parking area close to the road. And between the road right of way and the trucks is a row of trees. Some of them are quite large and provide adequate screening, but there is a space in between a couple of the larger one where there is just some small cedars planted. It's in those, it's those small cedars, which, you know, doesn't necessarily block the view of the trucks because trucks are fairly high. That is the location that the trees would be spaded in and maintained. So again, it is the applicant's long-term intent to make use of the lands behind the building. Okay, so that all the trucks will be parked further back. The buildings themselves would act as a buffer for sound, et cetera, visual. However, as hopefully we all can appreciate, the purchase of that additional land was fairly expensive. And it will take some time, not long, but perhaps a year or two, improve a new driveway to the area behind the buildings on that lot addition area. But until that improvement and that relocation of the truck parking takes place, the trees will go in.
Okay. Any further questions to this gentleman from council? Councillor Statham.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through you. I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood, but I didn't hear the answer to that question. Is it moving the trucks to the rear of the property and a screen or a screen? Is it one or the other, or is it both? Sorry, I didn't get a clear response to that question that Councillor Denning asked.
Yeah, through the mayor to Councillor Statham, and I guess back to Councillor Denning for my response. The way I see it, effectively, if and when the zoning bylaw is passed, okay, from that second on, there is a requirement that all the trucks be screened from view from the roadway, from the dwelling across the road. So at that point, again, that screening has to be implemented. And if it's not implemented right away, then the applicant has one option, that's to go forward and move the trucks behind. So again, whether the screening goes in or they move the trucks to the rear immediately, the trucks must be screened from the public view, from the public right of way. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Thank you. Yeah, a little bit, not really. I guess my question is there going to be a screen of trees planted, or are they going to move the trucks to the back of the property? It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
Either they move them to the back of the property, or they're going to plant trees. Which are we talking about here, or is it both?
So if the applicants move the trucks to the back of the property, the day the zoning bylaw goes into effect, there will be no reason to provide the trees, okay? If the movement of the trucks to the rear of the property takes longer, then the trees must go in.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Denning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair, and thank you for that response. If I was the neighbor living across the road I think that, from my perspective, certainly would appreciate the fact that the trucks would be moved to the back of the property. But I would also appreciate seeing a screening of green trees, not having to look at the trucks. There's a trucking business in West Elgin on Furnival Road, that's completely surrounded by cedars, and the neighbors across the road, you don't know it's a trucking business unless you go into the driveway. I think if I was to hear that sort of commitment from the applicant, it would make me much more comfortable.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Have you finished? Is that your presentation?
Yeah, and I guess if I can just indulge yourself, Mr. Mayor, to respond to that. It's in Mr. Stewart's best interest to provide an environment that the neighbors are okay with, okay? And if that includes the planting of the trees regardless, then I would suggest it's in Mr. Stewart's best interest to do that. The difficulty comes from within the zoning bylaw amendment itself is you can't have a conditional zoning bylaw amendment. So you can't say that the zoning is in effect subject to the applicant planting trees, okay? So I would defer to Rob on this through Mr. Mayor. Whether or not there could be a memo or just a letter of undertaking between the applicant and the town to ensure if that's what council would like to plant the trees, I'm sure we'd be willing to provide such a promise.
Okay, thank you. I need to hear from the public. Is there anybody from the public would like to stand up and talk?
I'd like to speak on Manuel Diaz's.
Yes.
He lives right across. from
Could
me.
you come up to
If
the
you
microphone?
if you
please?
wouldn't mind coming up, you can do that with pleasure.
Copies of. Hi. I'm a friend and neighbor of Manuel Diaz right across the road from the property. And his daughter-in-law in March of 2025 prepared this summary. A list of concerns. Starting at 7 p.m., illegally coupling trailers on roadway with noise backup beepers. Refrigeration trailers run all night, causing loud noise. Between midnight and 3 a.m., illegally uncoupling trailers on the roadway. This is happening 6 days a week with noise backup beepers again. At 4 a.m., all trucks leave the neighbor's yard. When trucks turn on the roadway, headlights shine on the bedroom windows, waking the family up. In the summertime, we must clean the windows of the house every 2 weeks because of so much dust. Even the trees in front of the yard, Mr. Diaz's yard, look all brown with so much dust on leaves and pine needles. As far as I know, West Elgin by law is for residential and agricultural, not an industrial park. I did not sign up for this. And then there's a further comment from today, October the 9th. This morning at 1:57, that's Mr. Diaz, woke up to the screeching noise of the dual axle trailer. They couple and uncouple the trailers on the road. This occurs 6 days a week. On September the 6th, my grandson stayed over to go fishing at 6 a.m. He sleeps in the front bedroom and was woken at approximately 2 a.m. He could not get back to sleep, which ruined the fishing weekend. So my comment is, I don't think trees will take care of this problem. That's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I was talking to the neighbor behind me. I was just talking to the neighbor behind me just before I came here. He lives 800 meters away from me. When you couple and uncouple the trailers, has to go through the trees that I already have in my property, which is rosa trees, north and south, and east, north and south, and east and west. And that sound still goes through those trees. So I don't think tree is gonna do anything there. And it's not like just coupling and uncoupling the trailers. The dual axle trailer, or one of them, you have to slide the dual axle from underneath the front trailer to the back so it can pick up the other trailer. That's where the fifth wheel is. And that's where the noise is. That's bigger noise or a louder noise than coupling and uncoupling because it slides steel against steel and makes a screechy noise. It's like I said, the neighbor hears it 800 meters away.
Okay, thank you. Is there further public comments? Is there further public comments?
I'm John Okelson. I live just west of the proposed site. This business has been operating for 2 years. The main concern I have is that it's been operating illegally right from the get-go. And I have a certain amount of doubt that things will improve by getting permission after the fact to operate a business that's been frankly quite concerning. The trucks parking on the road and not even tight against the shoulder. Many times I've had to pass these trailers parked on the road with two of my wheels a foot or 2 feet into the ditch. And on one occasion, a truck driver walked directly from in front of his cab where I couldn't see as I'm passing his truck parked there, and I almost smoked him. That was not safe for him. That was not safe for me. The road is being destroyed. That's costing quite a bit more to the municipality to take care of that road. The safety aspect of it is my primary concern. Trucks pulling out in front of me. I go to work very early in the morning. At one point, I was starting at 5 o'clock in the morning in London, so I was leaving the house at 4 o'clock when the same time the trucks were leaving. And on 3 or 4 occasions, trucks pulled directly onto the road, directly in front of me. I had to slam on my brakes. One time on my motorcycle, I almost lost control and went down. For it to happen once out of the 3 months that I was working early would have been understandable, but for it to happen 3 or 4 times in those 4 months, that shows a complete disregard for the community around. Now, I would think that a company that's wanting to endear itself to the community would take more care in the way they operate or the way that their employees are working. That's my main concern is safety. My secondary concern is for the quality of life. Living in an agricultural, I lived in Mississauga for many years. I was born and raised here, but moved back to enjoy country living again. I understand that there's a lot of you know, like the gentleman before said, a lot of farmers have trucks and whatnot, but their trucks aren't, you know, refrigerated units parked right beside the road running all night long. And as for, you know, farmers doing harvesting activities, parking their V boxes on the side of the road, I've never had trouble getting around a V box or a tractor parked on the road because they pull over plenty far enough for normal traffic to pass on the other side. Also with this wouldn't be, the way I understand it, this wouldn't be a rezoning, but an amendment, an allowance. So the zoning would stay as agriculture, but this would be allowed to be done on an agriculturally zoned property. Is that my understanding? Is that correct? If that's the case, then I'm wondering a little bit about the taxes too on such a on this deal. Like, are there extra taxes being levied against this property with the business operating on it that's destroying the road and causing, you know, I'm expecting thousands of dollars extra per year to keep that road in good condition because of the damage that's being done to it by the truck. These are some questions I have that I'm not, due to the way that it's been operated for the last couple of years, I'm not entirely convinced that any changes that have been put forward are going to be carried through with. And if they're not, what is the penalty for it? Once this is done, is that it? Like, oh, well, I guess we passed it. So is it just a promise and a good faith notion, or is it, or will the operators be held to strict standards? That's my piece. That's my concerns, and hopefully,
Oh, thank you. They've been inwardly digested. Okay, is there any more applicant comments? Any more public comments?
I'm the applicant. My name is Jeff Stewart. I got I can respond to some of what he said. We first went to, before we moved to purchase the house, we contacted bylaw officers to make sure that we could park trucks there. We were told yes. And somehow there's some kind of miscommunication somewhere along the way that all this came about. So we're trying to, make everybody happy. That's in the neighborhood. We never come to, upset, turn over the apple cart type of thing, right? With the purchase of the Severance lot that's coming, we've been given 2 years to do that. It's taken us, over 2 years to get to this point. We didn't want to invest in any money further than what we have in case we got this property to move the trucks. So now everything is approved by council to get the property. So now we're in the process of purchasing it. And our goal is to put the trucks at the back away from the road, 100%. That's what we want. We live there, so we know of the disturbance it causes for everybody else because it also causes us disturbance. It's just something we've learned to live with. Obviously, I'm not, neighbors is, I don't want upset, but ultimately we want to run our business there. That's why we moved there. And that's why we tried to get permissions and stuff before we even purchased the home. With the screening, we've already planted trees there. They're small, but they will grow over time. But ultimately, if we can get the trucks into the back of the area, we may have to move some trees to get the trucks in and out off of the road. Everybody's concerned about. And all, things done right on the property and in the back where, hopefully some, we'll put some screening down, berms and stuff, whatnot, which Robert and I have talked about. And I think that might be adequate for sound wise. There'll be, berms as tall as the trucks and trailers are, which sort of also block the view, the vision and the sound, going forward. Ultimately, I'm not sure how else I can please the neighbors. I've tried to do everything I can along the way. I've even, I approached my neighbor directly across the road, said, any concerns when we first moved in, any concerns, come to me directly, talk to me, and I will try and deal with it right away as best as I can. And he never did. That was the only conversation I've ever had with him. So, everything else went through council and bylaw officer and all and whatnot. So, I've tried to do what we can to appease the whole, neighborhood. I wish some other neighbors had come and maybe talk to me and voice their concerns to maybe set their mind at ease. But again, the process of getting don't want to commit any more finances to the property before all the approvals come in or don't come in one way or the other, right? So that's kind of where I'm at this.
The extra land, you bought extra land
Yeah.
to enlarge the property.
Yeah, well, it's just to get the trucks away, like,
But that's A2,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, I believe so. Robert,
That's just agriculture.
yep,
Your main property where you live.
Yeah.
Is A3.
I believe so, yes,
So it all has to really come into one.
right, yes. And
And-
then that way we can move the trucks out.
Because, you can't have little bits of this and little
Right.
bits of that.
100%, yes. Yeah, which we're trying to accomplish, to get everything into one so we can, like I said, even be better neighbors as far as,
Yes, Councillor, Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Thank you, and through the chair. I appreciate everybody for coming today and everything that's been shared with us. It might seem like a small point, but what types of trees did you plant?
Right now-
Wondering about, how they will fill the area.
Yeah, so right now there's 14 or 15 cedar trees put in the place in between two giant pine trees.
Okay.
So when they grow, it'll be just a wall.
Wall. And then with the employees you're having, is it 5 employees to match the 5 trucks? Or do they double up?
No, they double.
Trying to think of how many cars come in and out then to
Yeah,
also create
they
noise.
double up. And we were doing some, obviously because of the economy now, we're scaling some back. So there's 2 to every truck,
Okay.
basically.
And then
But some carpool, sorry.
lastly, just to make it clear, once you've purchased and if you're able to, the coupling of these trucks wouldn't happen on the road because it's not supposed to be happening right now.
Absolutely.
It would be happening behind the building, or where exactly was your hopes of the
Somewhere on the
property?
way in, probably like a 30-meter inwards towards the north side of the lot, towards that big shed that's on the, I don't know if you've seen
Okay.
pictures, but.
Yeah, I drove by.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Those are all my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councillor Statham, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you, Stuart, Mr. Stewart, sorry, I did have a couple of questions for you. I just wanted to know when did you purchase that property? How long ago?
I think it was 2.5 to 3 years ago now.
Okay, and then when you said you sought permissions to, operate the business over the last few years, I just want to be clear about this. Who did you speak to? Was it bylaw specifically, or was it brought to council? Was there a communication with the municipality? I just want to be clear about that point.
Yeah, so before we purchased the home, when we were interested in it, my intention was always I wanted to buy a property to get my trucks to house down, west here. And I called the bylaw office and talked to him a bit about the operation. And he says, he said that was, that was fine. And there were other farms and residents in the area, not, that did that sort of thing already. And that shouldn't be a problem. So I kind of went with that word. And then, sorry, and then he paid us a visit several months later. because somebody had complained. And then that's where the process started with contacting Robert and so on and so on.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yes, CAO.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Just to respond to reading through some historical documents and emails, trying to understand the miscommunication. What I had seen in the emails was that there was a misunderstanding for the number of trucks, that originally the bylaw officer thought there was one, but then upon his site visit with you, then he noted that there were several, therefore moving it from your own truck to being that of a business.
I can't speak to him to what he thought or whatever,
Okay.
but the conversation was had, and we've always had 4 trucks. We have other trucks in Windsor at a different yard, but you know, that's for that area and stuff, but we've always had 4 trucks. It's been that number since, you know, before we came along, so.
Okay, further comment from council? Yes, Councillor Statham, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I had a few comments. I've been taking some notes here. I just wanted to draw council's attention to the County of Elgin official plan, and specifically to point D. So I'll just read this out really quickly. This would be acceptable, assuming that there is no noise, lighting, dust, traffic, or odor from the business or industry that will have an adverse impact on adjacent properties or agricultural operations. I just wanted to make that point clear. That is within the County of Elgin official plan. After hearing from some of the public, I'm a little bit concerned again that perhaps we're not meeting that standard after hearing some of that input. The second question that I would have, I'm just going to throw everything on the table, and then there was some understanding that I had that we had received some complaints through bylaw, and perhaps this is something that staff can comment on. How many complaints did bylaw receive, and what kind of time frame are we talking about? I'd like to see that information. My third point was for Dave. Dave, if you might be able to just maybe educate us, myself personally, and maybe the general public on the regulations that involve coupling and uncoupling on municipally owned roadways. Is that permissible? Is it not permissible? What's sort of involved there? And then, I was a little bit interested in the tax implications of operating a business when it was not zoned to do that. I mean, obviously, if it's being zoned to have a business operating there, I would like to see that information as well. At this point in time, I think the way that I feel about this, and I'll just put this forward to the rest of council, I don't personally feel like I have enough information to make a decision on this matter, and I would prefer to have this deferred to a later date once I've had a chance to review some of the answers to those questions. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further questions? Well, I think the way it looks, I think, can we read that recommendation? Oh, Robert, do you want to speak further on it?
I could provide a little bit of information towards some of Councillor Statham's questions through you, Mr. Mayor. I'll answer the hot button topic, which quite often is taxes. I've had that raised before with home occupations or businesses that are on or located within zones that are not necessarily traditional with what the use is. MPACT assesses a property based on its use. They don't care what the zoning is. So if you have a rural residential property that you're operating some form of business on, you are going to be taxed at least on a portion of the property at a commercial rate. Right now, it's being taxed at a residential rate. So there will be some tax implications going forward with the establishment of the business based on its use rather than its zoning. They're not right now they are not being taxed agricultural, so they are not getting a discount that way. It is residential and there will be some commercial implications because of what they're doing on the site. So that there's that. I'll defer to Mr. Sharon on any road questions, although it's my understanding that stopping in a live lane of traffic, regardless of the road, is illegal. So what they're doing out there, and I stand to be corrected, but you're not allowed to stop on a road for anything other than emergency purposes. So I think that answers a couple of questions there. So
Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no more well, do you want one more? You're not just repeating what you said earlier. If you got something new, please say it.
I'd just like to find out who gave permission or a permit for Mr. Stewart to build a parking lot there so he could park his trailers. Is municipality give him any permit to build a parking lot?
On his own property?
And Mr. Stewart property, yes.
He's allowed to put a park of some sort on his own property, isn't he?
For
David, please.
for you, for parking lots, that's usually, it goes under a site plan application. So if you're doing it for business applications, it'll fall under site plan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to do what we said.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you to
The council at the first. Because we do.
The first part is just receiving.
But not the consent part.
Correct.
Okay.
Councillor Statham, you had mentioned deferring the decision. Are you making that as part of amending the motion?
Yes, please. At this point, like I said, there's a number of questions that I have outstanding that I would like answers to, and at this point, I'm not comfortable making a decision on this matter.
Could you read the recommendation, please?
So what I'll do is read the very first part of Mr. Brown's recommendation, which is it is accepting it as information only. The motion is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Robert Brown, planner, regarding zoning bylaw amendment application D14 7-2025, recommendation report, planning report 2025-22 for information purposes, and that West Elgin Council defer a decision pending additional details.
Okay. Mover, please. Deputy Mayor. Ryan. Councillor Statham, please. Oh. Mover. Seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier. All in favour? That's carried. I'm sorry, that's as far as we can go today on that. Okay, so we go to adjournment.
That West Elgin Council hereby adjourn the public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. And public meeting, Drainage Act, Mumford.
Skip a moment. The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby proceed into a public meeting pursuant to the Drainage Act.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Denning, All in favour? That's carried. Have we got the engineer's report? John Michael, speak, welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Can we leave it over to you, please?
Sure. So tonight, this afternoon's meeting is the consideration of the Mumford Drain. It's only to deal with the construction aspects. Doesn't deal with the assessment. That'll be another meeting. So this is an existing municipal drain, and the work came about as a request signed by some affected landowners. They have a lot of flooding along the back of their properties. And there was a request signed, so I was appointed as the engineer by council. So we examined the entire drain, the Mumford Drain. We found that some of the portions downstream of Graham Road are quite old. There's been stretches that have been replaced, but there's one tile from the 20s and one tile from 1963. And then there was work done in the 90s on the east side of Graham Road, and that was done, but it hooked into the old system downstream. So we looked at that and we looked at what the capacity of the existing system was, and it's approximately 15 to 16 millimeters of rain in a 24-hour period. Now, most drains we put in for agricultural standards for, areas that have a mix are 38 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. So that's what we've been constructing drains at for, well, I've been taking drains here for a long time and they're all about 38. So this drain is about 2.5 times less than what the standard would be. So the drain's definitely undersized. There's a big watershed area that comes into it, goes all the way to lot 20. There's a lot of farmland that feeds down. It does serve portions of, the intersection at Graham and Talbot line. There's some other drains, the Staden drain that connects into it. There's some storm sewers on the county road. There's a lot of area that comes into towards this drain. So what we're proposing to do is to replace the new drain, starting at the open ditch, which is on the south side of Talbot line, run across Talbot line, replace the crossing under Talbot line, replace the drain through the Lapidat lands, cross under Graham Road. Now we can use the existing crossing under there. It's sufficient. It's deeper than it's at a good depth. It's not a problem. And then twin the drain all the way to the point where the drain runs through the farmland at the back. Essentially, it's all a closed drain. We'd be using sealed pipe through the residential lands to stop tree roots from coming in, concrete tile, such through the farmlands, destroying the old tiles, catch basins along the course of the drain. That's essentially what we're constructing. Happy to answer any questions from anybody on it.
Okay. Any public or landowner questions, please? Comments? Yes, Bonnie.
Just a quick question. The catch basins, will they be twinned as well? Like, will you dig an additional catch basin beside the ones that are there, or no?
John, you just put your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize for that. So if you look in the plan, you can see where we're adding additional catch basins, and we are twinning the drain. So where we're keeping the drain on the east side of Graham Road, we're cross-connecting the drain in several locations. So the two drains will act as one. So we are putting catch basins in at a few locations, junction boxes, tying into a bigger catch basin at the very top end in the farm where it goes to the east. And then we're putting junction boxes. You won't see them because the farmer won't want them, but we are cross-connecting the drain in several locations. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations to get those two drains working as one. And then we're providing stubs to all the properties that are fronting the drain.
So the catch basins that are currently there, will they continue to work?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further questions?
So Marilyn Ott. As a landowner there, I noticed that the previous project was never completed. It's not leveled yet on my particular property. I have called the township and I've asked them to level it. There's still huge humps there from the previous project. So the trust with this being completed, I think it should be completed and hopefully there's something in place that there will be a little bit of completion of the project. I also noticed in going through the drainage report, there was no soil sampling done, correct?
That is correct.
Why not?
It's generally, we don't go through the effort of doing a soils report on drains. If it was an urban storm sewer job, we'd do that, but on municipal drains, we don't. We speak to various contractors. You'll see that portion of it is sealed pipe with bedding. So
Correct.
We based on our experience, based on dealing with the drainage superintendent, we get a feel for what the soils are there, but we don't do soils reports.
So to me, that would be a very important thing to know what type of soil you're dealing with before obviously, there's 2 drains there already, correct? They might have sediment in them, they might have whatever, not to do a soil sample and to just go through and, oh, we need this other drain. We don't even know the type of soil, whether it will work or not, whether this drain that is being proposed. To me, I've had other experiences, soil samples are generally needed.
I can tell you through my experience, we generally don't do them on drains. This is, there's a capacity problem in the drain. So if I look at the capacity of the drain, it's, as I said, it's 15 to 16 millimeter.
2.5 times less.
Yeah,
than
it's
what
2.5 times
you're
less. Typically, what we put in now in most drains we do are 38 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. That's what this one's designed. It's not designed like a storm sewer in the in the center of town where it's a low coefficient. So, it's a capacity problem with the drain. Whether the soil is any particular type still doesn't reflect the fact that the drain doesn't have capacity for what's coming to it. So the soil would only affect what the bedding was if we were putting, the bedding around the pipe or the type of that, but it wouldn't affect the sizing of the drain.
So I understand that the bigger
Yeah.
the hole, the more water can shoot through if it rains.
Correct.
I get it. I got
Yeah.
that. Why not then under the road? Then you're gonna have it small under the road.
So that's a good question. So
Thank
back in 2000, I can't remember the date, but 2019, when was the last report? 93, I believe. 1993, they improved the bore under the road and oversized it. I don't know why. That's what they did. They put a bore in that was bigger than what they needed at the time.
So how big is it? Is
It's
it?
750 millimeter diameter pipe. So we checked the capacity of it because obviously if we had to replace it, we would. If you look at the road crossing further down on Talbot Line, we are replacing the road crossing because
There,
it's undersized. But the one on
the
Graham Road,
yes, you're
yeah,
not.
it was oversized to begin with. So we were able to, we don't want to do something if we don't have to, we're able to utilize that because it was bigger than what was there. I don't know why the previous engineer did that, but he did it. We shot elevations on both sides, determined the slope and the grade, and looked at the capacity.
All right, so at least you're aware that under the road and you're certain that's gonna be big enough.
Yes, for the 38 millimeter design, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would it be possible to get a soil sample? Like to me, what if it won't even drain through the soil? If it's a kind of clay, more type of a clay thing.
Well, in this area though, we have catch basins for surface water
Correct.
so a municipal drain provides an outlet for water. It provides the ability to reduce surface water, and it also provides, like if you look at all those farmlands to the east, that's not going to drain their land. That's not going to make their land drier. That will just give them a better outlet, and they'll have to do tiling. And the tiling that they would put in, like the gentleman on the other side of the road has indicated he plans to retile. The tiling that he puts in will be based on the soil. So the tiler will look
Right.
at it and go, well, you know, this is really heavy clay. I think we should be 20 feet. Or if it's lighter, we can go
Right.
further.
So why don't some of the other residents do tiling on their land? Like, I don't quite
they
understand.
c-
There's 2 drains already, and this is gonna be the miracle 3rd drain.
Well,
Just because it's a little bit bigger, even though under the road is big enough, but so why don't they do tiling on their particular to feed into those drains?
Well,
Like, why are we shooting everything that's there?
they can.
They can, yeah.
But that's up to them. We provide them the outlet to it and then they can tile. So they have the right to tile to it. Your lands, you would have the right to tile to it.
Correct.
But we only provide the outlet. I can't make somebody tile their land to
So
it.
if someone were to tile their land, they might not even need this whole multi-million dollar, hundreds of thousands of dollars revamp of that entire drain system.
Well, they would because the tile has to go somewhere and the tile would go to this drain.
Yeah, I understand that, and the tile would go to the drain. I understand that.
Yeah.
But we don't even know if it's gonna work like, for that particular soil, right?
Yeah, it'll work.
Just
I'm
cause it's bigger,
confident.
but there's already 2 there.
But there's no capacity though. That's the problem. You look at what's on the other side of the road. There's 2 on the other side of the road and they're being
Right.
removed. They're being torn out because they're old.
Okay.
And we're replacing it with a larger one. This 675 millimeter diameter drain all the way down through. So we are making them, we're making them a lot bigger. So there will take a lot more water.
Now, was part of the reason that the drain didn't work because of the big rain that
Well-
year? Like, it seems other years when there's not as much rain.
Sure, when we get that much rain, you know,
Right.
it's hard to get rid of it.
So that's
But
one of the
we're
factor.
not proposing to put a drain in that would, you know, handle that much rain in that short period of time. We never do that. We always put in a lower standard. So a 38 millimeter design standard is it's a good standard. But it's an economical standard. It's not like, you know, if you were to put in something, you get 6 inches of rain in 4 hours, you'd probably need you know.
Exactly.
But excuse me, but that allows them farmers to
Yeah.
be able to put tiles on the
Absolutely.
land and the water can be taken
Yeah.
away.
Right.
And so that's why he's put the size he's put in.
Well, we haven't put it in to address 6 inches of rain in 20 minutes. Like, we just don't design for that.
Right, like
But-
Peterborough, it happened all over. the
Yeah,
province.
we don't design for that, but you do look at it and you go, well, it is undersized. It is really, you know, for all this land area coming to it, it's 16 millimeters. That's quite a low design coefficient.
Okay. I think that was it. And then what are you going to do with the old drains that are there for all of them? You're gonna rip them all out?
Well, the ones on the 1993 drain, we're gonna maintain, but the other drains, yes, we're gonna rip them out because we don't want them relying on a drain. Portions of it are 1927. We don't know the condition of it. We don't want to rely on it. So we're gonna video it because we don't know if there's connections through the back of these lots on Talbot to see that they're there, and then we're gonna rip them out.
Cause some of these people might not even be connected into the drain.
We don't even know, like, for instance, there's 5 or 6 lots. We don't know if one time, you know, because it's been there since 27. They may
Right.
have, you know, had a problem. They connected to it. So that's why we're going to video it first before we take it out.
And they could be blaming everything because they haven't tiled their land
Yeah,
or not connected into
well, they
it.
may not be connected to it, but they can connect to it in the future.
Okay, thank you. I think we've,
Yep.
you brought things to light. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you said good new points, good.
Thank you.
Any further comments?
I can speak to that, your worship.
Yes, please.
When we did have
It comes from
extensive
the-
rains,
Tom, you have to come to the.
we had extensive rains in the years previous where all these landowners experienced flooding and they requested something to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the course to get it done. Right?
Yep.
Obviously, it hasn't rained since then. Things have been good, but
It will do.
how long do we wait? And the requests were made. So it's going forward and Mr. Spreet's done a wonderful job of addressing the situation. And I think in the end, it's gonna be a good thing.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, we do nothing, nothing happens.
No, I think it's a good job.
Thank you, but I wanted to say that.
Well, can I just make a comment to that? Could there be like, people do nothing? I heard that comment.
I
But is
spoke
there-
to you on the.
Yeah, I know, we talked,
Yeah.
you've been out to the place,
Yeah.
but is there not a responsibility of the individual residential lot owners to hook into that drain?
And if the drain's not adequate to carry the water away.
Well, we don't even know if this drain that is there is adequate right now.
We know that.
It took care of it this year.
We know
took
that
care of it.
drain is undersized by today's standards, and obviously it's been redesigned to carry the modern.
But my
fans.
point is, if people haven't even hooked in their private.
And that, once again, is up to a landowner.
Correct.
That being said,
We are talking about the Mumford drain, are we?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we are, but people, wouldn't they
No.
need to hook into it?
yes, absolutely.
That.
Any questions from council? Yes, councillor Statham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. And again, I just wanted to thank you, John Mike, for everything that you've presented here. I think I just want to make it clear to anybody that's watching at home, we're not talking about individual properties and their individual tiling regimes. What we're talking about here is the outlet for that water. So where that water comes off of an individual property, it has to go somewhere and it goes into an outlet. That's what we're talking about. I just wanted to make that clear because it is a little bit convoluted. I just wanted to make sure that, do I have that correct, John Michael? Is that correct?
Yes, through your worship. Yeah, the municipal drain is the outlet drain.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Further questions? Seeing none, can I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that the Council of the Municipality of West Elgin hereby receives the engineer's report for the Mumford Drain dated September 4th, 2025, as prepared and presented by Mr. J.M. Spreet, professional engineer, and that council authorize staff to initiate the tender process in accordance with the Drainage Act as required for the construction of the municipal drain known as the Mumford Drain, to be considered by council following the quarter revision, and that the quarter revision be scheduled for Thursday, November 13th, 2025 at 3:45 p.m. And that council consider the provisional bylaw 2025-57 as presented in the bylaw portion of the agenda for the first and second reading.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much. Yep. So now we go to adjourn.
The West Elgin Council hereby adjourn the public meeting pursuant to the Drainage Act.
Move it, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. We're now going to take
At least.
5 minutes break. And next is 6 delegations, and welcome to the Four Counties Health Services Foundation and the Four Counties Health Services update and presentation.
Thank you, Worship and members of council.
I haven't
Staff.
used names. Perhaps you'd introduce yourselves if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Worship and members of council. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. I guess, and not quite evening yet, but
You to introduce
friends, I'm just going to introduce everyone. I'm Tom Jeffrey. I'm currently the chair of the foundation, and Julie McBrien is the MHA president and CEO. And beside me, Jackie Needy, our fundraising, and behind me, Martha Wartner, our administrator. So we got the full shooting match here. So the pleasure to present to you is we appreciate your generosity over the years. To date, since 1999, you have donated over $275,085 to the hospital, and we much appreciate that very much. It's really appreciated. This afternoon, I'm going to be presenting, doing a little bit, and then I'll turn it over to Julie, and then Jackie will wrap it up with the ask, okay? Sorry. Okay, a few years ago, and I think you may be aware of it, but we developed a mission statement. And it's by raising awareness of critical equipment needs and encouraging community ownerships for giving. This is an important thing. We have to encourage our community to give. And they do give. I mean, our community is very cooperative. And we want to ensure quality health care that's maintained close to home. We have a structure which we work through, and it's the MHA, which is what Julie is part of. And then we have our hospital and Strathroy Hospital, 2 separate units, 2 separate auxiliaries, 2 separate foundations, and 2 separate hospitals. Yes, I want to make that clear to you that, you know what I mean, we are two bodies. And it moves from the auxiliary up. Okay, it's important to know that we raise funds for the medical equipment because our Ministry of Health does not provide funding for any item over it's a policy of the hospital of anything over $3,000. So any capital equipment that is needed at the hospital, it is our responsibility to purchase. So it puts it on. And since 1987, we've contributed over $9.45 million to the hospital. A lot of fundraising. We have a varied board, we have an elected board of, and you can see where they come from all over the area. I think, well, we have some Linda's from the Rodney area, so we do have a good representation from all of our 4 counties. And then we have Julie and Jackie and Chelsea, the MHA representative on the board. And then we have our staff, Rosemary, Jackie, and Martha. And we are a team. Your donor, the dollars that are donated impact the state-of-art medical equipment. It's very important to know because that provides excellent patient care. I think I know that, you know what I mean, with the physio department, with our emergency department, the equipment they have there, it's very important. And it reduces wait times and it increases the number of procedures that the doctors can do. An example is our endoscopy program, and Julie will be presenting those numbers a little bit later. A study that was done by Chatham Kent a few years ago points out the 2 top reasons that what brings newcomers to an area are employment opportunities and secondly, healthcare. So it's very important that we have a hospital. And they not only impact the quality of healthcare, they impact the viability and sustainability of your communities. And you can see there, we have a good range of community support, ranging from the Salus Mutual to the municipalities to Legions. There's a variety of people that are supporting us. And every year we reach out to the community. Every year we have an annual memorial service, which is held at the Presbyterian Church in Glencoe, which last year we celebrated the lives of 120 people. And it was a very meaningful service for all those families that come to that service. And we produce a newsletter twice a year. And it goes out to the communities. I know it's covered out in this area as well. And we send out over 11,000, but I mean, I know that part of all of West Lorne and Rodney rural routes are covered and part of Dutton. So it does reach out into this area. And this is just some of the equipment that we need that we are purchasing this year. Our total equipment appeal for 2025, which runs from April 1st of 2025 to March 31st of 2026, is $250,000 that we have to raise. So it's quite an extensive thing. There's a lot of equipment there. Some of that has already been covered through our spring appeal, and we're just in the process of entering into our fall appeal. So, and Jackie will go through some of those things, but this is the appeal that we deal. Every year, the hospital comes to us and presents to us some of their equipment needs that they have. Then we as a board look at it and determine whether we can afford to purchase all the stuff, and then we make our own opinion and decide and go from there. We've been very fortunate to support most of the needs of the hospital, though. And with that, I'll turn it over to Julie.
Thanks, Tom, and thank you for having us this afternoon. $275,000, that's very impressive. So I just want to say thank you very much for your support over the years. Just a little bit about me. I've been with the MHA since 2021, and I've been president and CEO since 2023. I am a registered nurse, and I live in Strathroy. So just so you have a little idea who I am. I wanted to just highlight, in 2024, the MHA released our new strategic plan. So this is essentially why we do what we do, and it highlights a few members of our teams and that sort of thing. But you're welcome to go to our website and learn more about our strategic plan, because it's really about our commitment to our communities that we serve. So next slide. Oh, we do have a video that we'd like to share. Oh, yes. While we kind of pull that up, I want to kick us off with a little video, and it's a video that was supported by a grant to the Four Counties Foundation, and it really features all aspects of Four Counties. So it's a great overview of who we are and what we do as a primary care small rural hospital, and it's narrated by Dr. McCabe, who's one of our physicians at Four Counties, as well as Krista Shea, who's our VP of Clinical. So. Try and get this to work.
Four Counties Health Services is a primary hospital providing 24-hour-a-day emergency department services, inpatient care, diagnostic services, and rehabilitation.
We understand the importance of immediate access to care. Our strategic location in Ego is a great benefit to residents of Chatham County, Elgin, Lambton, and Middlesex counties. We are prepared to handle a wide range of medical emergencies and can provide initial care for critical patients. Our heliport air ambulance service means we can get patients quickly to higher levels of care.
We offer care placed in a fully staffed full-bed inpatient unit, as well as a palliative care suite, which provides comfort and support for loved ones at the end of life. Our hospital services include X-ray and ultrasound imaging, endoscopy, diabetes education, and physical therapy for both inpatient and outpatient support. We have established our facilities here as a health village, offering services beyond traditional healthcare. We work with the community to facilitate outreach programs like our Adult Day program, Meals on Wheels, and support housing for the residents of Four Counties Community Villa. We also have partnerships with Dynacare Labs, Newbury Dental Clinic, and Southwest Ontario Aboriginal Health Access Centre, which provides a holistic approach to medical care for the Indigenous community.
Family medical practice rounds out the primary care support located in our health village. Four Counties offers a community feel that's often hard to find in larger centers. As a small rural hospital, we pride ourselves on offering modern healthcare while ensuring that patients and families are treated with the care and compassion that we would expect from our own families.
Exceptional people providing exceptional care right here in your community.
Okay. So, oh, is that okay? Yeah, I think I'm okay now. So just, yeah, giving a little overview of everything we do at Four Counties for the most part. And I know we're not very far down the road. We're less than 20 minutes down the road from West Lawrence. So I was just going to see how many people have used our services in the past at Four Counties. Okay, well, that's great. So, and there is literature that shows the closer you are to healthcare, the better outcomes there are. So I think the fact that we aren't too very far down the road means better patient care for the people in this community. People may not realize, but we do take care of very sick patients. And it was alluded to in the video, but we do have our helipad for Air Orange. So, you know, if a patient comes to us that's very critical, we help stabilize, and then we move the patient on to a trauma center or a tertiary center for more advanced care. And I was at Four Counties this afternoon, and the helicopter was there. So, so it does get a fair bit of use. The other thing I was going to mention, there is a picture of our negative pressure room. And during COVID, we saw a fairly significant number of COVID positive patients. So in partnership with the hospital and the foundation and the Canadian Medical Association, we did invest in a negative pressure room. And that was really a room that helped maintain the safety for our patients, our staff, when we were dealing with COVID and making sure we could provide the best care possible. So this slide tells a little bit of a story in terms of who we care for and where patients come from. So you'll see that there's two graphs here. The one on the left is the inpatient side of the hospital. So when you stay the night with us, that's those patients. And then the one on the right side is the emergency department. So what you will see is Elgin is in the gray in both of the pie charts, Elgin County. And you'll see that Elgin County is one of the top 3 counties that use our services. So, so very significant usage by Elgin County, which is great because we are obviously meeting the needs that exist there. Next slide. So emergency department. So Four Counties does have a 24/7 emergency department. And I often get asked about emergency department visits, especially in these difficult times when people don't have a family doctor or have difficulty accessing a family doctor. Emergency departments act as a safety net for people. And we are very proud that we've had no closures of our emergency department. You'll probably often hear on the news in other communities that they've had to close their emergency departments for periods of time or permanently. Knock on wood, we've had close calls, but that's not been a situation we faced. And our biggest challenges is physicians, emergency department room physicians. There are not enough emergency department physicians in the province to cover all the emergency departments that exist across the province. So, and as you can appreciate, as a small rural hospital, it's hard to offer many perks and incentives to have physicians come and work with us. So, except our smiley disposition and that sort of thing. So, so that isn't going to be an ongoing challenge for us. And we have teams that work on that every day to make sure that we have physician coverage for our emergency department. Next slide. So you'll see here, again, who are we serving? Just a little bit of a snapshot by age range. You'll see that we service all ages. And the most popular group is kind of the 60 to 80 population, but we're there for everybody in our community. And I often get asked as well, what are the top reasons that people come to our emergency department? And you'll see on the far left-hand side of the bar graph that cough, sore throat, those things are the most common reasons why people come to our emergency department. And in addition to our emergency department, which we have seen volumes go up over the years, and we are, almost at 12,000 visits now every month, which is quite significant. But we also have our inpatient unit. So we have 12 beds there that are funded by the government. And we have a dedicated group of physicians that look after those patients. And some of them they work in the emergency department as well, but some of them just work on the inpatient side of things. And then just you'll see, I mentioned the 12 beds, which is kind of the dotted line. What we have seen over the last year is that more often than not that we have had to open additional beds in order to care for the patients coming through our emergency department. So some days we are operating around, most days we're operating around 14 beds. So things are busier for us there. Unfortunately, the government only funds you for the 12 beds. So beds above that are a budget pressure for the organization. And we do have ambulatory clinics. So we have two physicians that work out of our ambulatory clinics, Dr. Liu as well as Dr. Mohammed. He's a new addition to 4 counties. He is a general surgeon and he also does endoscopy procedures. So he does some clinic work and then he does endoscopy as well. And I just did want to just highlight our endoscopy volumes. We have been doing endoscopy at 4 counties for a number of years. We had one physician and he retired, and that's when we recruited Dr. Mohammed to join us. So you'll see we were doing a fair number of endoscopy procedures, but then with the retirement of a physician and the recruitment of Dr. Mohammed, we expect to continually see those volumes continue to go back up now. And then the video mentioned we have our palliative care suite, again, thanks to the generosity of our foundation and our donors. So it offers a nice place for families when patients are facing their final days. And then the video also alluded to our health village concept. So we do have a number of people that rent space in and around the hospital. Notably the dental clinic, the lab, we have SOHAC, of course, our foundation partners are across the parking lot in the Red House, and we have our villa on the other side of us, and then just in the last year or so, we put in a hitching post to support our Amish communities. So. And just a little highlight around, it's great to provide good patient care, but we need to maintain our buildings. So we've made a number of investments through the support of the Ministry of Health to help fund some of these things. But we've put in better, more accessible washrooms. We're putting in a second generator at 4 counties because we often have power outages. And one generator, we had a situation where the backup generator did not work like it should. So having a second generator out there makes sure that we don't ever have to evacuate the hospital for any reason because of a power failure. Like I said, we've opened more patient rooms to meet those needs and other kind of wayfinding improvements and that sort of thing. So it's always a work in progress to keep our building in good shape. And then I did want to just highlight, people may not know that we do have a local advisory council. So this is made up of a group of local community members that we meet with 4 times a year. And we bring issues as a hospital to them. They bring issues to us that relate to healthcare, and we have dialogue 4 times a year around things that are important to 4 counties and how we can make sure we have ongoing conversation with our community and address any concerns or things they want to bring forward. And this is just a little snapshot of some various other aspects. Diagnostic imaging, we do diagnostic imaging at 4 counties. We have our diabetes education program. We do have a cafeteria. You could go there for lunches if you would like. And we have our adult day program and our outpatient physio department. So, and a number of the people that you'll see in these types of photos, while they work at the hospital, they're also people from our community and live close to the hospital, and it's their home hospital as well. So. And now I'll turn it over to Jackie.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, your worship, for having us. Tom spoke to the work of the foundation, and Julie talked about the role of the hospital. I'd like to speak to the role of the community and how it supports the hospital through the foundation. So as Tom mentioned, each year the hospital gives a list of, kind of a wish list of what they want. They prioritize it. Then our board decides whether we can meet the appeal. So last year we raised $205,000 in hospital equipment, and there's the list there. And we thank our donors for that. And we thank you, the municipality of West Elgin specifically for a grant for $5,000 toward a portable ultrasound. And I believe I was here last fall, or we were here, and we discussed how important this piece of equipment is. It really is wonderful for the staff in the emergency department when they get someone come in, they're not sure what the problem is. They can make a quick scan to make a quicker diagnosis, and then without having to transport the patient to the ultrasound room or get a sonographer. So it's come in very handy for that. And we really do appreciate your grant program, so we hope to apply again this year. And this year we are raising money. Part of what we're raising money for are vital signs monitors, which of course, are essential to have both in the emergency department and in the ACNU floor. So we will be and we'd be very grateful if council would support us in our request toward that goal of $7,000 for a vital signs monitor. So I mentioned different ways that the hospital is supported. Of course, there are businesses, organizations, municipalities, and individuals support our efforts to provide medical equipment for the hospital. And one of our greatest partnerships is the Four Counties Auxiliary, which actually formed before the hospital was built, and they were the first fundraising organization for the hospital. And they had quite a hiatus over COVID to get going again. So they've been back in action since last May, a year and a half now, and they are looking to donate approximately $20,000 back to the foundation this year, which funds were raised through the gift shop and the bookstore in the hospital, and they actually had their spring bazaar came back, and now we'll be having a holiday bazaar coming up December 8th. So we hope to see some folks out for that. And if anyone in the community is interested in volunteering for the auxiliary, I think it's a great way to support the hospital, and we appreciate their dedication. And of course, we talked about before, Tom mentioned the support from the community through service clubs and other organizations. And oftentimes service groups will do their own event on our behalf. And in individuals as well. On the bottom there, you see Norm Parker. He's from where I live in Bothwell, and he decided he was so happy with the way that the hospital had supported his wife who had kidney failure, that he ran in the Watford-Elmston Road Race and raised $1,800 towards the hospital. So I love stories like that. The support and all the community groups are so generous to the hospital. And then, of course, we have our own signature events, which we manage ourselves. And the reason for that there's two reasons for that. One, of course, is to raise funds, and the other is to engage in the community. It's important to make sure that the community is aware of the foundation, why we need to raise money, and these are great ways to get together for that. The golf tournament is probably one of the fan favorites, I guess you'd say. And this year we raised $42,000 at our golf tournament, which was held at Wardsville Golf Club. And then, of course, we're just new with the Split the Pot Lottery, which supports 83 healthcare foundations across Ontario. So it's a great concept of splitting the wealth there. I know sometimes there are a lot of emails that are not always welcome all the time from people, but it's a great effort and a great idea to support hospitals across Ontario. And then I mentioned telling our story and talking about the hospital. And I just spoke with this couple, the DePels makers, who I do happen to know. They're originally from Bothwell, and they had lived in the villa, which is adjacent to the hospital, since 2023. They were there because Richard had cancer and he needed some help, supportive housing. So the hospital does provide PSW support at the villa for those that need it. And during their cancer journey, the DePels makers went to 6 different hospitals across southwestern Ontario. And in 4 counties specifically, they were in the emergency department, they stayed on the floor, and at the end, Richard was in the palliative care suite. And Mary Lou had to say, she said, I came back to tell the staff at 4 counties that of all the hospitals they visited, that 4 counties was number 1, no question. So we really appreciate that story. I just wanted to talk about the little picture there. I mentioned that they were in the villa, they lived in the villa, and one of the PSWs, they noticed that Richard was struggling. So they went to the emergency department, right there, right by the hospital, and within 3 hours, the healthcare staff had Richard into a palliative care suite. The next day was their 57th anniversary, and the family all got to come in the palliative care suite and celebrate with the family. And then Richard passed a week later. So in our goal to have more communication for the hospital, I mentioned last time we were here, we got a new website, which is up and going, which you can see the video if you'd like to see it again, it's on there. And also we like to post to Facebook pretty much daily. We post something about the foundation, our fundraising efforts, and quite often we will share the hospital's posts, because the MHA also has a Facebook page, which is very informative if you want to keep up on what's happening at the hospital. And just in summary, I'm sure I don't have to mention to you folks because you know the importance of the hospital and how important it is for our community. And we're so thankful once again for the support we get from West Elgin. And Tom mentioned to me something I had forgotten to mention. The Four Counties Transit is a great asset, and we really appreciate that all the support we've gotten for that, for the hospital. It's really helped people get to and from appointments at the hospital. And of course, your dedication makes sure that we're there for emergencies. We're also there. We make sure we have the support, gives us the latest technologies and training for our healthcare staff. And we also have the additional preventative support, health support, such as diabetes program and the adult day program and things like that. We just want to thank everyone for having us, and we welcome your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're always appreciated, and we look forward to you know what was your mission. Only this morning I had to see a doctor in England. This morning I had to see a doctor in Glencoe, and on the way home I had my blood taken and an X-ray at my favourite hospital. So thank you very much for that. So anything else from council? Yes, Deputy Mayor Telly, please.
Thank you, and through the chair, thank you for coming again and giving all the information as you do every year. I really enjoyed that you call it a health village. Dr. McCabe and you all refer to that. And I love that. I love that it's preventative care and acute care. So not just, people coming in off the street and getting their blood work or coming in with a major emergency or something. You're actually looking at preventing things and what does that look like. And I just had a question about the 12 beds that are funded. So you said sometimes you open up to 14. So where does that funding come from? The fundraising or beg and plead with the provincial government, or how does that work?
It's the beg and plead.
Okay.
So yeah, the foundation money strictly goes to.
Just your microphone on, Julie.
Thank you. The foundation money strictly goes to capital equipment. So therefore, yeah, we try to make the case to our provincial government that we're seeing extra activity, extra patients, and try to get funding. But I think a lot of hospitals in the province are seeing extra patients, so it's right. So it's a challenging situation to try to do that. So we figure out how to pay for it.
Okay, and then my last question, I'm just gonna it's not your deal really, but I'm just wondering if it's something down the pipe, since there's not enough ER doctors, are they looking at a model for nurse practitioners to come in and triage, or how's that looking?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we, Four Counties has had a nurse practitioner in the past. We've struggled to recruit, but we just had one start this week. And we actually are changing her job description a bit so that she is going to support our emergency department a little more than that role has in the past. Yeah, and the hope there is that it reduces wait times if the emergency department's busy and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. And once again, thanks for attending and giving us all that information.
Thank you. Further questions from anyone? No, just thank you very much for coming. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you very much. I know you got an agenda ahead of you. We'll get out of your hair so you can get the rest of it.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much.
You too.
Do what?
But that was my fault, so let's skip it. I can read it now if you want. I don't, and I'm trying to move it, but
Thank you.
We should.
Thank you.
There.
I should have, we should have gone.
Yeah, we're still in council. So we'll read this now, okay? We'll read that recommendation now that should have been read before the
Okay.
delegation. At least it's being said.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
We'll be into it.
We're just going to go back one step for the record, the recommendation that should have been read before the delegation, but we got into it a little too far. The recommendation is that in accordance with section 3.5 of bylaw 2024-05, being a bylaw to establish rules and procedures for the meeting of council, West Elgin Council hereby allow the Four Counties Health Service and Foundation up to 20 minutes for item number 6.1 delegation, suspending the rules of section 6.8 of bylaw 2024-05.
You want to move it?
Yes, please.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and we go to number 7, adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopt the minutes of September 25th, 2025 as presented.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? Thank you. Business arising from the minutes. Seeing none, we go to 9, which is staff reports. Building. Monthly building report, September 2025. Any comments? No. Recommendation then, please, for that.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Corey Pemberton, CBO, regarding Building Department Summary Report for the month of September 2025.
Mover. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. So we go to 9.2.1. Truck tender results. Dave, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Earlier this month, early in September, we released a tender to purchase 2 new pickup trucks that were approved in the 2024 budget that were carried over to the 2025 budget. Our budget for the trucks was $60,000 per vehicle. They came in at $52,623 plus HST from Finch Auto Group. So I recommend that we proceed with the purchase of the vehicles.
Okay, questions from council? Councillor Statham, please.
Mr. Mayor, through you. Dave, how did you find a pickup truck for $52,000? That's crazy. Well done. Well done. I had to say it.
No AC or heat.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank you.
secret.
Well done. Yeah, well, let me know. Let me know next time I got to get a pickup truck because that's great. Thank you very much. $8,000 under budget for each truck. You save the municipality 16 grand. Well done. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Thank you, and through the chair. Yes, well done, well done. Just wondering about, is just a standard warranty on the trucks and?
Yeah, just a standard warranty on the trucks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions? I think it was answered pretty well, wasn't it? Could I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Dave Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that West Elgin Council approve the tender award for the purchase of 2 fleet vehicles to Finch Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC Limited for $52,623.50 plus HST per vehicle.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa. I'm sorry, I've got 2 eyes. All in favour? Thank you. Got 1 on each. So we carry on and we go to 9.2.2, bi-monthly report. Dave, it's over to you again, please.
Thank you. As stated in the report, this is for August and September of this year. I just broke it down for monthly operations for Public Works. We worked on the landfill, cold patched our roads, finished our road patrols, and completed some excavator maintenance. We had some such special projects of completing our sidewalk minimum maintenance work. We did guy road repairs. We did road closures for the Rodney Fair and Tuning Tuesday. We finished our stop line bar painting, and we fixed our beaver dam that we had come up. But we had to fix it on the only rain day that we had in September, so that was fun. So cheers to the boys for that. They worked hard. And we got our stockpiling done for our winter sand. For our utility department, we completed our locates, finished our meter reads, and did customer service calls. For special projects, we did a 2-inch water line connection on Gray Line, or a water main repair, sorry, after a fiber optic kit. Installed a water service on Silver Clay line, and did a tap at 176 Monroe for a new development, and valve repair. And for capital projects, I worked with our Rodney Park Committee and did an RFP for them. And I just noticed on this line that I did not mention that we assigned G Architects to design and tender the replacement of the Port Glasgow Trailer Park washroom. I forgot that word on the end of the thing. So we have one of our older washrooms out there that we're going to tear down and replace. So with upgraded to the system out there. So anybody has any questions?
Okay, thank you. Sounds like a busy month. Councillor Sousa, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Dave, just a question. Is there any timeline for the bathrooms for the trailer park?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Yes, we are planning to have it design. I'm in works with them right now. We're planning to design it before Christmas, get it out either just before Christmas, the tender, or just after, and then have it torn down and built and in the spring before the year. But that's depending on contractors. So that's our goal. So
thank you.
Before the park opens.
Hopefully before the park opens. That's our goal.
Sounds exciting. Thank you.
Further questions? Councillor Statham?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, through you. Dave, I've had a number of residents reach out regarding the landfill, and again, we can address this at a later point, but I wanted to ask you, so I've noticed that the landfill now we're down to using the bins down at the bottom, essentially operating as a transfer station. I guess, are there any expansion possibilities available to the landfill? Are we able to continue using that landfill, or are we essentially done placing refuse in the landfill itself and we're looking at now a transfer station model?
Through you, Mayor, the bins at the bottom of the landfill get brought in and put into the landfill. So and we're currently still adding to the landfill until it reaches capacity. And then as we get to the point of end of life, we're going to be reviewing all that as we go. So
is there one follow-up? In speaking to Dutton Dunwich, is there a possibility to expand the landfill if we did the proper environmental assessments, or are we once it's full, it's full?
I'll have to get back to you on that review, because there's a lot of moving parts with environmental impact that needs to be considered. So
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Dave. Thank you very much.
Okay, further questions? Seeing none? Have the recommendation, please.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the bi-monthly report, August and September 2025, from Dave Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, for information purposes.
Okay, mover please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried, thank you. We go to 9.2.3, sole sourcing. David, it's back over to you again.
I think this is my last one, so, thank you. For this report, we're looking to sole source our, project that we, got a grant for the, I believe it's the Housing Enabled Water Fund System. Part of this grant, we need to have it tendered and the tender awarded for construction by next September. To get this work done, it's a very short time frame. Currently, we're working with Spreet Associates to complete work in the area on Chestnut Street, and they are the consultant that completed the design work for after the flooding in 2023 that figured out the scheme to be able to fix our problems here in West Lorne. So I'm requesting that we assign them to do the work for the project to complete the grant application. And so what they're going to be doing is they're going to be designing and tendering and construction administration. So do site supervision on site during the construction, and we'll be assigning a contractor to do the actual work. So, anyone's questions?
Okay, thank you. Questions on council? Councillor Statham, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. I have to say, I mean, Spreet is phenomenal. They're fantastic. They're good with our municipality. They're familiar with our infrastructure. And to your point, Dave, they were already working in this area and have a good understanding. Having said that, I have to ask, what is the approximate value of this contract that we'd like to sole source?
Through you, Mayor. According to our grant submission that we submitted, we estimated a contract value of $537,000 for the construction, for the design and tender of this work. That's approximately 13.5% of the entire job.
So we're talking about 500 grand, $500,000. Okay. Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, can I have the recommendation then, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Dave Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that West Elgin Council approve the sole source contract to complete design, tender, and construction administration for the replacement of storm sewers in West Lorne, that outlet to the Zoller Drain down Chestnut Street, and upgrade the stormwater main on Main Pioneer Street from approximately 44 meters west of Argyle to Division Street to Spreet's Associates.
Hey. Move it, please.
Sorry, if I could interrupt, I'd like a recorded vote here, please.
Councillor Statham, I will call for your vote.
No.
Okay. Councillor Sousa?
No.
Councillor Denning?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tellier?
Yes.
Mayor Leatham?
Yes.
That is carried.
Okay. We move on. Okay, we go to 9.3, which is planning. Is Robert on? Oh, there he is, like magic. Thank you. So severance application E 52-25, comments to Elgin County. Robert, if you'll carry on, please.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. I promise this one will be much quicker than my first one. This property is located on Furnival Road at 12897 Furnival Road. The property is actually located behind the municipal office and the other industrial uses that are along Hoskins Line. One of those businesses on Hoskins Line is in the process of preparing for some expansion of both their yard and their building in order to accommodate future business. In having initial discussions with them, I suggested that they were going to need some more room to expand where they were at, and that they should look to potentially purchase some property from the neighbor behind. They did approach them. They came to an agreement with that, and that's brought us here today. Those lands that are behind the industrial strip that's along Hoskins were actually brought into the rural employment area designation as part of the new official plan. That was one of the land use needs that was clearly in short supply for the municipality. We needed some additional employment lands, and those were brought in. So that was very timely and helpful. What's being severed off of the property is approximately 2 acres to be added to the rear of the receiving lot at 22295 Hoskins Line. I've reviewed this in a context of both the provincial and local policies, and because this is appropriately designated, there aren't any issues that way. At the provincial level, there is a small woodlot that abuts the farm property. However, it doesn't reach the size specified by the county to be considered a significant wooded area. And it is actually only slightly less than the 120 meters that would normally exclude it from consideration. For the consent process, at least, we're not looking at doing an environmental assessment on it. Essentially, drawing imaginary lines on the ground doesn't have any impact on a natural heritage feature, and I've had some agreement with the local CAs over that in the past. So this will require a zoning amendment to rezone it from the current agricultural zone it's in to match up with the receiving lot. That will be one of the conditions of approval. And then once expansion plans are solidified for the business, it will have to go through site plan approval. There is currently nothing in place on it right now. So that'll be dealt with at that time. We'll also deal with the fact that despite the fact that the lands from which this is being severed are undersized now, we are undersizing it a little more, so we'll have to address that, and we'll deal with that at the same time that we deal with the zoning for the lands that are being severed. So unless there's questions from council or the public, that is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
No public comments? Council, comments from council? Seeing none. Could I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Robert Brown, planner, regarding severance application file E52-25, comments to Elgin County Planning Report 2025-23, and that West Elgin Council hereby recommend approval to the Land Division Committee of the County of Elgin for severance application file E52-25, subject to the lower tier municipality conditions in Appendix 1 of this report. And further, that West Elgin Council directs administration to provide this report as municipal comments to the County of Elgin.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. So we move on to 10. Oh, it's gone. Committee and board reports or updates. Oh, yes, Councillor Denny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just through the chair and very briefly, just had an arena board meeting yesterday, and we had our West Lorne Minor Hockey Associate and our West Lorne Skating Club Associate. Everybody's reporting that the new dehumidifiers are working great. And the last month or so, we've had unseasonably warm weather, and without those new dehumidification systems, it would have been a very different start to the hockey season. So from the hockey club and the skating club, they both said thank you so much.
Well, thank you for that. Okay, notice of motion.
Anybody?
Anyone
Just
else?
before we move along, was there anybody else for any committee or board reports or updates? Okay.
Notice of motion.
We have one notice of motion that will be read at the October 23rd meeting. It's from Councillor Sosa, online public access to council meetings. Councillor Sosa, would you like to speak to that? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, council, and staff, regarding my motion to bring back public access through a live feed, I believe this is the right step forward to ensure our municipal meetings remain accessible to all residents. Some cannot attend in person for personal or other reasons. Providing a live stream helps maintain transparency and inclusion. I will be elaborating further on this matter at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll see that again at the next meeting. Council inquiries and announcements. Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Thank you, and through the chair, through you, Mayor. We all attended that wonderful health forum last night at the town hall at the Rodney Rec Center. We learned a lot of great things, learned about, just a lot of great dialogue about the health center, how can we connect? And I think the feedback was amazing. I think everybody was very pleased. And at the end, they asked if, the people attending, if they were looking to have this again, and everyone agreed that they'd like to have it again. So look forward to doing that. A highlight that Councillor Denny didn't know about Second Harvest. That's our pantry over at the health center. It's what it's called. So during the health center hours, you can call. And I don't know if anybody knows the background of that, but Steve, they use all the resources there. So instead of doing his accounting that day, Steve goes out to all the foodlands in the area, including Glencoe, collects anything that would be normally waste. It is frozen, it is processed, and given out to whoever may need it. So it's a great, great thing. So another thing I wanted to highlight is that the 50-50 draw for our West Elgin hockey ends on October 17th. So maybe if you've over turkey, you can buy some tickets and support them and support our minor hockey in the area. So just a few things. And I think Councillor Denning had something about some assistive devices for the young kids that were learning to skate. So maybe you want to speak on that too.
Sounds like I have no choice. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and through the chair. In just a really great example of small community love and care. At the arena board meeting yesterday, the skating club mentioned that they were looking for 2 assistive devices to help little tykes and folks with special needs learn to skate. We used to use pylons, road cones when we were kids, but they can't really do that anymore. So they're these devices that are fairly expensive. They're $400 a piece. And skating club was asking for that to be purchased. Of course, we have to go through the whole process in budgeting to do these things. So instead of waiting until budget time, we just put it out there to the community that this was what we're looking for. I put it on my council Facebook page. In 5 minutes, we had 2 community sponsors to cover that cost. So that was pretty awesome. So was happy for that to happen. And then by way of another council announcement, I know a lot of folks have been asking about the Craft Hockeyville money. We had a discussion about that yesterday as well. One of the reasons that this process has taken so long was that staff was working really, really hard to find a recreational grant to complement the Craft Hockeyville money and the municipal sponsorship money as well, so that we could get the most bang for our buck. And we certainly had an engineer's report about all the wonderful things that we could do if we had all the money that we wanted. But the reality is that we don't have all the money that we want, but we do have some, and we're going to make the most of it. So the Arena Board Committee with staff and with the skating club and with minor hockey are all working together to do a want list of the things that they feel are most important to fit into a arena renovation. So just in the form of an announcement and update, staff and council committee, we're all working on this and looking forward to getting some more information out to the community about the next steps for the Kraft Hockeyville money. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Excellent. Anything else? Okay, so we're on correspondence. Was there anything on that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. There is 2 items under correspondence. Item 13.1 is a letter received regarding smoking in public places. And item 13.2 is a request for proposal from the Financial Management Services for the Elgin OPP Detachment Board. Just a note for that one is that the OPP Detachment Board is going to be attending council on November 27th as a delegation. Would any members of the council like to pull either of these items, which will be discussed under items requiring council consideration?
Yes. Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Through the chair, I'd like to pull 13.1 if I could.
$13.1.
So that will be discussed under number 14, items requiring council consideration. Would anybody like to pull item 13.2 for discussion? Seeing none for that, the recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receive and file all correspondence not otherwise dealt with.
Okay, so we move it.
Yes, please.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried, thank you.
Now we're in 14 and we can discuss this letter.
14, items requiring council consideration.
So Deputy Mayor Tellier, would you like to speak on the letter received regarding smoking in public places?
Thank you for that, clerk, and through the chair. So I discussed a concern that it's stated in the letter there from the Rodney wool shop. She has her doors even closed and is feeling that the smoke from the area when people are having their coffee and such on the sidewalk is coming into her business and attaching itself to the smoke is attaching itself to the textiles in her business. So I spoken to her and the people at the convenience store there, Tokies. They're willing to work together, but she's just looking to see what maybe if she could have just looking into something, if there's a bylaw or anything about the distance from her door that people would be able to vape or smoke. We don't have a bylaw, is my understanding of anything like that. Not something everyone has. People are free to smoke outside. That's where they're supposed to smoke. But just if we could look into it, didn't know if council's appetite for that and to spend staff time on it. To add to it, the proprietors of Tokies have moved over when they're having their coffee and such, a little further away from the opening. So I don't know if they talked about it together. My understanding it isn't, but that was nice of them as well. When they found out the issue, and she's still finding it a bit of a smell into her place of business. So just looking to see appetite if we want to explore it further or just leave it be and have them sort things out on their own.
Just one very small solution, maybe a very small light fan, pushing the air out instead of bringing it in.
Like a recirculating fan, you mean? Like the ones that have the 2 fans on the little, yeah. Okay.
That's a possibility. That's just something I just thought of. Okay, Councillor Statham, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. I also spoke to the owners of the convenience store there, and one of the things they mentioned is what would be helpful to them is a location for people to sit down and eat their breakfast, and maybe that's something that if we're going to talk about smoking outside and that kind of thing, maybe we could look at having a location where people could sit down, have their coffee, have a smoke, whatever they want to do. But that is one thing that they mentioned to me. They'd like to see some benches or you know, a location that people could go. If we're telling them they can't smoke on the street, well, you know, where are they going to do it? So, just wanted to add that. I also did speak to them, so thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councillor Statham, through the chair. Yeah, they have requested a bench from the municipality to see if they could put one there for just that purpose, for people to have the refreshment or a small sandwich at. So that's something added to it as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none. Okay.
Okay.
We move on to bylaws. Do we go to bylaws? Zoning amendment.
That bylaw 2025-58. Sorry, we're taking that one out. Mr. Mayor, we did not.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, so we go to 15.2.
Mhm.
2025-57 Mumford Drain, first and second reading only.
That bylaw 2025-57, being a bylaw to provide for drainage works on the Mumford Drain in the municipality of West Elgin, be read a first and second time and provisionally adopted.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. And with that, we go to a closed session.
That the Council of the Municipality of West Elgin hereby proceeds into closed session at 6:26 p.m. to discuss matters pursuant to the Municipal Act, Section 239(2)D, being labor relations or employee negotiations, manager of corporate services, treasurer recruitment.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you.
I feel like I've been done.
Okay, we're going to report from close.
Reporting from closed session at 6:54 p.m. that West Elgin Council received one item pursuant to the Municipal Act, Section 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations, and it provided administrative direction to the Chief Administrative Officer. Please.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you. And before reading out the confirming bylaw, I just would like to go back to item number 9.2.3, the sole sourcing report from the Manager of Infrastructure and Development. I do not have a mover or seconder recorded down here, so I do need confirmation of a mover and seconder for that motion. And then I will also read out that does not change the vote. So I need a mover and seconder, please.
A mover, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier.
And for the record, I have Councillor Statham and Councillor Sousa voting no, Councillor Denning, Deputy Mayor Tellier, and Mayor Leatham voting yes.
Motion's carried. Thank you.
Okay.
And we go to 18, which is the confirming bylaw.
That bylaw 2025-58, being a bylaw to confirm the proceeding of the regular meeting of council held on October 9th, 2025, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
A mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Which brings us along to adjournment.
That the Council of Municipality of West Elgin hereby adjourn at 6:56 p.m. to meet again at 4:00 p.m. on Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, or at the call of the chair.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, Councillor Sousa, seconded. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan, over there.
Yep. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.